Hello and welcome to this mid-morning, late morning taste challenge. We have two Irish blended whiskeys. This is Bushmills Red Bush. I got this for a great deal. My friend David and I were at Savannah Discount on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana, and we found this full-size bottle, not sample bottles, full-size bottle, $9.99 each, $9.99. Now, my friend David went back and bought another bottle. He asked me, did I want another one? I said, no. I mean, yeah, it's a deal that is unmatched. $27 bottle for $9.99. So I wasn't gonna beat this deal again, but I just was using the reasoning. I was like, I can't get everything constantly, So, but he was like, that's $11 after tax. And, I said, I know, but I just can't buy it. So it says age a minimum of 3 years. Well, yeah, all Irish whiskey is age a minimum of 3 years by law. But this one's actually aged 4 years. If you look at the website, Proximo Spirits says it's aged 4 years in first, what they call first fill bourbon cask. And what that means, they're taking ex-bourbon barrels, and the first time they refill them is with this. Okay, so they've already had bourbon in it. And for how long? Well, once, because you can't use bourbon barrels a second time with bourbon. Well, you could do it with whiskey, like just like early times. Whiskey is bourbon essentially, but it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels, used barrels. So legally, they're cutting, but you can't call it bourbon, you can call it whiskey. Okay, but so the question is the question. So, but whatever, they're saying it gives it a lot of bourbon flavor, and this was introduced in 2017, and you can get it. Walmart's got it, but it's like I said, $28, not $9.99 like we got it at Savannah Discount. The most incredible deal in the world. Triple distilled. The original Bushmills been on the market since 1786, not 1608 like it says on the bottle. Well, you know what that means? If you look at the website carefully, they say there is a record showing that a royal license was given to a distiller in 1608 in the Bushmills area of Ireland. But it really has nothing to do with this brand. It's just that there's evidence that they've been distilling liquor, whiskey, in that county, Antrim, Ireland, since 1608. Okay, so there you go. This is Northern Ireland, right? So it's produced in Northern Ireland, which is the part of Ireland that's still a British territory. It was not turned over to the Irish Free State in 1922. But people will ask me, what do you think about all that? I say, I don't think about all that really, except in a historical context. I'm not a partisan. I live in the United States. That's really got no, I don't take sides. I'm neutral in fact as well as indeed. Okay, now here is something from the Irish Republic. This is the Busker. The Busker, introduced in 2020, 3 years after the other one. So neither one of these have been on the market very long. This is triple cask. So it is aged in 3 different oak casks. Ex-bourbon, I'm choking now. Ex-bourbon barrels, ex-sherry barrels, sherry wine, and ex-marsala barrels. So it's aged in two different types of wine barrels, marsala and sherry, and one type of whiskey barrel, bourbon. See how light it is? No age statement. If you look at the website carefully, I think they tell you which brand of sherry and which brand of marsala they use, but I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure they do. But it's really not that important to this video. But the parent company of Royal Oak Distillery is Di Serrano, who makes a lot of liqueurs, and they're from Italy, and their headquarters is in Italy, and so I think they actually own Marsala wine producer companies and sherry in Spain. So yeah, that's the story. Now this thing shocked me to death this morning at dawn because I thought if there's ever a video that would be a people's waste of time to watch, it would be the Busker versus Bushmills Black Bush, 20-80 ratio, 20% grain whiskey, 80%, you heard me right, 80% single malt Irish whiskey. So, it's like flipped, meaning if you come to the United States, or if you go to Canada, or if you go to Ireland or Scotland, most of their blended whiskeys are about 80% grain spirits and 20% single malt, or in the United States, 20% straight bourbon. Okay. But with the Black Bush, they flipped it, which is why it's over $30. But it's almost $40. But I couldn't get over it. I got them mixed up, and I thought the better one was the Busker. And I was like, well, just goes to show you, you think you know, but you don't know, but you might know if you do the taste challenges. But it was a shock. I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't a shock. It was a pretty kind of jarring shock. I was thinking, oh man, I didn't really know how to, I'm not saying I didn't know how to deal with it. I mean, you just deal with it, but I didn't know how to approach it or explain it. That's the word. Okay. Craig Swinson in New England says Marsala and sherry barrels. Interesting, but sounds good. Yeah, that's what they're saying they use. Those are the type of wines I enjoy on occasion. You said the Busker was aged in those barrels. Yes, it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels, Craig, ex-marsala wine barrels from, I guess, Sicily, Italy, Sicily Island, and ex-sherry, apparently Oloroso sherry from some part of Spain. They're claiming it makes it so special and interesting. And I laughed that off, but maybe they're right, because the challenge that should have been the least challenging, the Bushmills Black Bush, was the one that was the most confounding and disorienting and whatever. So, but I got this for a great deal. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to downplay it. I got it for $10 at Walmart. Now, Walmart did not call me on the phone or send me a text message and say, oh yeah, we got this for $10. You better hurry over. I have no relationship like that with them. I was just over there shopping for probably eggs and cornflakes. I've been buying a lot of cornflakes. And I just saw it on the shelf. I was like, like in the movies, like in the cartoons when they're like, oh, the double take. And I said, $10. But that's why I said the double take, because I had to look at it and I was like, am I seeing this right? And I read the tag, $10, because you wonder if they put the bottle in front of the wrong tag. It was like the Busker, $10 closeout. I was like, buying that. Okay, so did I have any special desire to get it? No. Did I have any particular interest in buying it? No, I didn't. I had heard about it and had seen the bottles, and otherwise I didn't care about it. I was like, I ain't paying $32 for this. I saw it around, because I had Michael Collins on my list, because they have a Irish whiskey called Michael Collins. Whether it's any good or not, I do not know. But it's owned by Sazerac, and I saw it at a local store for $18.99. I was like, I'm going to buy that next. But I mean, when I saw this for $10, it was just like no debate. Okay, so I got no predictions now. After what happened this morning, I have no prediction. My only prediction is that it'll be interesting. It's always interesting. So, and then once we're finished with this, then we're on to next week, not this week, but maybe next Thursday, because I told you I'm taking a little time off from this. but I like to do it. I mean, really, I mean, I could do it every hour. Like you say, you're an extremist because you would do one of these every single hour. I mean, I would, but you got to cut the grass, got to clean the house, got to go to work, got to go grocery shopping, got to go do this errand. Oh, this thing broke outside. I got to go fix it. You say, oh, you mean you got to live your life? Yeah, but I mean, in a theoretical sense, I wouldn't get tired of doing it, but I mean, you do have to have some kind of self control and you know what I'm saying, ability to pace it correctly and all that. Okay, so but I'm going to take a few days off, and then I plan to be back on these on next Thursday. And I don't know, I mean, it may not be off. Oh yeah, I might go on a trip somewhere to like I wanted to go to Texas again because it's like all the country, and and that so it could happen. But really after this little break, I could go all the way through till December 31st, like without a break. I mean, I'm not kidding about that. Like where however many days that is, it could be that many days. So if it's 200 days left, then it could be 200 taste challenges, and I'm not kidding about that. I'm not being sarcastic and I'm not being flipped. I mean, it's like literally the truth. Okay. But then we'll be off to single malt scotch. So when this is over and we come back, which will be hopefully a short break, it'll be single malt scotch. And I got the Glencullen 10-year age. If you want to call it an off brand, okay, fine. It is in a way because like most people have not heard of it. But they had a surprisingly large number of written reviews. No, one video review, Leilani does liquor or whatever they call it. She does a good job. It's going on a year since she posted anything. You know how these every time I get interested in a channel, they stop producing videos. But there's quite a large number of written reviews for that Glencullen 10-year. Speyside. And my friend Dave was like, that's like a lesser scotch. I was like, no, it's a different. I was saying it's a different type. There's different regions of Scotland. And every region has their enthusiasts. You got the Speyside people that's all into that. You got the Isla people that's all into that. The Campbelltown people, they're all into that. The Island people, they're all into that. The Highland people are all into that. And so I was saying, it's not a good idea to look at it that way because, I mean, it's like light beer. That's the whipping dog of beer. You say light beer. Ugh, nobody likes light beer. Right. Nobody likes light beer. That's why it's the number one selling type of beer in the world because nobody likes it. Right. Okay, great. That's great. Havana's great. All right. So you gotta try to look at these things in perspective is what I'm saying. Do I prefer the smokier, peatier scotches? I do. But that doesn't mean anybody else does. I mean, some people do. It's not the biggest type. And anyway, once you keep drinking those things, it's like hot sauce. You keep drinking, you say, oh, it's so smoky. I can't get over it. Then after a while, it's like none of it tastes smoky. You know what I mean? Like you get acclimated to it. And then it's like, it just tastes like whiskey, like grain. It's like like the law of diminishing returns. Like it's like every time you keep going, it's not as exciting as the original because you're used to it, and it's not this. Like think of the first time you tried an authentic IPA back in the 1990s. You were like, oh man, this is so amazing. It's because it was exciting and new. And you just thought, I tried Giacomo IPA in like 1997 or 8. I was like, oh, wow, But you get used to it. Okay. All right. Not to say you don't like it as much. It's just you can't get to that. That goes into like these people that got these addictions to like pills or whatever. Or powders or whatever they sniff or whatever, they crystallize it and smoke it, whatever. I don't know, whatever they do. I'm not into that lifestyle, but they'll be like trying to catch the mirage the rest of their life. You know, it's like, I remember when I was 18, it was so amazing. It's like, well, you're 38 now. That's why you're stealing out of people's garbage can, because you're trying to catch a shadow. It's almost like a lost cause with those type of people, you know. All right, not but it just is. But let me get out of here before somebody drops a house on me. Yeah, just smell like grains. I mean, you could take all these different whiskeys and bring it down to like a simpler understanding of it. And I watch a lot of videos. I probably watched way too many of them, you know. No, I mean, so, and they going on about this and that and the other thing, just like I do. But then you start getting down to it. Now, here's a man who wants to get down to it. Ready to get down to it, aren't you? And it's just like, it tastes like cereal grains. But you can't say that. You know, you cannot say that. It has to be a lot of elaboration, and you know, it's just amazing. I can't believe it. I paid $250 for it. Well, yeah, that'll be amazing. Dribble a little bit of it. Hold on a second. So what about these two? Oh yeah, they're just amazing. I can't believe it. I just can't get over it. So what I'm trying to say is I'm trying not to be detached from the reality. 2 days ago, we drank that Italian Abbey Ale, 10%. It was amazing. I couldn't get over it, you know. And then I drank Miller Lite yesterday. But, well, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want people to get upset. It was just amazing. I'll just say that, you know. It's $10 a bottle, 500 milliliter bottles. You got to get it. That's all I'm going to say. Taste time. Okay. I get so familiar with these flavors. You know, it's like vanilla. It's like that vanilla Cadbury egg, vanilla cream, you know, that sugar cream. You feel your teeth rotting. Oh, I just got a cavity drinking, sipping on this. It's sugary. So vanilla cream, wood, oak. I guess a little honeysuckle nectar. You say, not that again. This sounds like bourbon. I mean, you know, bourbon is mostly corn. These might be mostly corn, but you are not been my boss. All right. I'm not saying they're like bourbon. But bourbon is 80, you know, bourbon is like at least 51% corn. And these are mostly corn. But there's a lot of other differences, of course, that change it. Like the used barrels and single malt barley is not the same as wheat whiskey but in the United States though, even with bourbon though, like straight bourbons, they use barley malt whiskey. I'm not gonna say too much. All right. Said too much already. Notice I never said I was going to retract what I said. I just said I said too much. I didn't say I was going to retract it. Oh, I gotta disagree with it. Somebody was telling me that on the phone Sunday. Why did you say that? I said, well, I agreed with it. You agreed with it? I said, yeah, it was. I said, but I stated it publicly. I didn't say it in private, like, well, this guy, over here. I was like, I said it publicly. Anybody could read it. These are not that different one from the other. I got to tell you, you got some commonalities. Like they're both Irish whiskey. One's Northern Ireland, one's regular Ireland, or whatever you're supposed to call that. It's all Ireland, right? So, and then it's like Korea, North Korea, South Korea. It's all Korea, right? You get that. Um, and you have generalized flavors here, like the sweet corn or just sugar. I'll say sugar water, and you get the bourbon barrel. They're both using bourbon barrels in their aging, so that brings in a commonality. And they're both using wine barrels. Oh, I'm sorry, not wine barrel. The the Busker's used in the wine barrel. I was thinking of the Black Bush, but yeah, they're a lot more similar than different. To tell you the truth, and the price is about the same. So I prefer the Bushmills bottle. I like that skinny bottle with the, squared off with the embossment, sharp looking label. Yeah, I mean, I prefer this, but I'm not going to drink the label. I'm not going to drink the glass. So I'm not drinking anyway. I'm tasting. I'm not drunk. I'm just drinking. Um, it's a nice little. It's like a tingle of bourbon barrel. It's like so running across your palate, little delicate way. Over here. Okay. This one seemed like it's got three dings on it, like a doorbell. This is like ding, ding, ding. Wait, that's NBC, right? Ding, ding, ding. Well, okay, I got an NBC doorbell. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's got three notes. This one, when you taste it, yeah, it seemed like it's got a single note. It's like ding, and that note says to me, ding bourbon, ding ex-bourbon barrels. Uh, First fill after they used it for bourbon. Okay, fine, very nice. I'm gonna say this is the Bush. I prefer it actually. I do prefer this Bushmills Red Bush. Oh yeah. So I got it right. Yeah, I probably got it right most of the time in the Busker taste challenges, but it might be like you say, yeah, but you only got it right like 55% of the time. It wasn't like an overwhelming thing. It was the NFL season. You had 9 wins and 8 losses. That's not really that impressive. And I'm saying, yeah, that's true, but we did have 9 wins and we had less losses, so it was we felt like we were winners. We didn't make the playoffs, but you got to go home happy 9 times and you only went home sad 8. It's kind of like that with the Busker because it's very difficult. I thought it would be easier than it was, but it turned out to be harder than it was. Now, what about the Glencullen single malt Isla 10-year age Scotch whiskey? I got the Glenmorangie, which is not aged 10 years, but it's like 6 to 8, whatever they say on their video. They make videos on YouTube, but I'm not going to go track that down. But they don't say it on the website. They don't say it on the bottle, so I'm going to say no age statement, but it is like 7 years. I got the Tomatin Dualcus, or as they call it in Europe, the Legacy. They can't call it Legacy here because there's already a Legacy Scotch. There's a United States Scotch brand called Legacy Scotch. So Sazerac was like, I don't think so. So Glenmorangie said, oh, yeah, it's the Dualcus, which means legacy. So, but, and then I've got the Glenlivet 12, Glenlivet Founders Reserve, Oh, Glen Rothus, 18-year age. I got the doggone Finlagen. Well, that's very smoky, so that won't be much of a challenge. And I've got the Ardbeg 10. That's very smoky, so that won't be much of a challenge. And I've got the Jura Journey. Oh, that's a wonderful product. And I got it for so cheap. My friend Dave was like, I think they mispriced it. I say, they might have it. I don't care because it was $22 and I bought it. And then now it's like $32. He's like, I told you they mispriced it. I said, that's not really my problem. If I go to Total Wine and they got it for 22 and it rings up, I'm going to buy it. You know, Jura Journey. Actually, I think the last time I went to a Total Wine, they didn't even have Journey. They had a different one that was much more expensive. It wasn't Journey. It was like Fantastic Voyage. It was like $150. I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy that. All right. Comments. Drayton Sawyer. Oh, man, I haven't seen your videos in forever. He says, hi, Ron. I felt like the Red Bush, being an Irish whiskey finished in bourbon barrels, sort of makes it mimic a Scotch whiskey. What is your opinion of that? Well, yeah, I mean, Irish whiskey and Scotch whiskey have probably more commonalities than differentials. I mean, I know that you say, oh no, Scotch is more peaty and smoky. I mean, I know that, I get that, but if you did a diagram, you probably find that there was more things in common than different. Max Walt says, hello, Ron. Hello to you, Max Walt, in the Russian Federation. The Busker. Okay, so here we are at the end of the Busker. We've gone through it. I've got my solo review to post soon. It won't be too long. I always go so far ahead. I like a month ahead. But yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, it's hard for me to say that because I paid $10. So when you pay $10 on a closeout, it's hard to say, yeah, pay the $32. It's really worth it. But yeah, but yet you're going to say, well, you didn't pay the $32. I know. I paid 10. So what I had paid the 32. I mean, I probably would not have, right? So I probably would have bought the Michael Collins, like I told you, for $18.99. So I cannot really. I can't. Yeah. I cannot say too much. But it was $10, so I bought it. Now you say, what if you go to Walmart today and they got two Irish whiskeys for $10? I guess you're gonna buy those, huh? I guess you're right. Yeah, because 2 months ago I was over there, 3 months ago, might have been longer because time flies when you're tasting fun. But they had all these bourbons at Walmart. All these bourbons. I was like, is there some kind of thing going on I don't know about? They were $10. Bird Dog bourbon whiskey. Doggone. Oh, I have them all on the shelf. I didn't sit there and like make a mental pen note. I just remember they were all $10, so I kept buying. I don't. And the last thing I needed to buy was bourbon. Like literally, the last type of liquor I needed to buy was bourbon because I got too much now. But I said for $10, I mean, it's like you can't overlook it. So I just kept buying and buying and buying. It'll take. It seemed like it's going to take a lifetime to go through all of these. Like literally a lifetime. It's unreal. And but you say, well, I went to the store and those things were like $35 a bottle. Yes, I'm sure that they probably are, and I don't know why we get these over here at this Walmart on these sudden occasions for $10 a bottle. Is this a store they use it as a dump store where they just send them all here and dump it? I don't know, and if they do, I'm happy because I'll keep buying it for $10. Okay, Drayton says I haven't tried the Busker yet, but I'll definitely give it a whirl. And that brings me back to the point, like give it a whirl, but I mean, I gave it a whirl for $1. So, hit that like button, says Craig Swenson. Yes. Thank you, Craig. All right. Well, anyway, it wasn't a totally, that was really good. Wasn't a totally successful taste challenge series, but these things can be filled with a lot of rocky shores, rocky, it's like living in New Hampshire along the coast. You might hit the rocks, so you need a lighthouse. So it's been a little rough, but that's okay. That's the risk I took. So now we're going to go to the single malt, and I have a feeling, I'm going to say this ahead of time, it's not going to be as smooth as you would like. I think the Glencullen, now my prediction, this is based on just one tasting, I think the Glencullen's going to do a lot better than you would expect, because for $20.99, and now it's $21.99, but I bought it before the JB inflation. The expectation would be it's going to be just get killed, and I would agree with that, and that was what I was thinking. But I tasted it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I was reading other reviews, and I watched the video, and they were saying the same thing. Like, this is coming out much higher than you would expect for $20.99. And in fact, when you buy a single malt Isle of Scotch for that kind of price point, you're thinking it's just going to be dreadful. Just like, what is this? It's the worst of the worst, but it isn't. So it's a little confusing. And my feeling is that it's going to score much higher than you would expect, and it's going to justify its price point, and it could undermine everything I got on the shelf. So that's going to be exciting. And then when I go to the blended Scotch, I've already done the video for that. It's called White Horse. Been on the market since 1890. True story, 1890. It was $38.99 for the handle, but it's like my friend David says, that stuff's really good. White Horse, he said, it's really good. It's way up there in the blended Scotch world. Yeah, I'll go along with that, no doubt. And then we're off to brandy. And I knew that day was coming, so I prepped by buying 2 huge jug bottles of brandy, and they're going to be quite exciting. And then it's off to rum. You know the protocol. Rum. Then we got the tequila. Then we got the mezcal, and then we'll be back to the rye whiskey. And I have some rye whiskey, and I am so delighted to try it. I've never had it in my life, and people ask me about it at least once a month. What do you think about it? I said, I've never tried their products ever, but I can't wait. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.